Hey everybody, it's Gina DeLuca again. I had some really awesome responses to my last video and people asking for more. So I'm doing a painting today for a show I have coming up, and I figured I'd let you guys in on it. So I'm going to be doing a ring pour today with some negative space, and it's going to be a value study. So there are 9 values on the chart between black and white. If you want to create the most depth in one of your paintings, you want to include a range of values. So I want to do a ring pour and accentuate the depth. The ring pours can have a great deal of depth to them, and I wanted to try one using as many of the values as possible, so that means black and white. The metallics also tend to add some depth to the paintings. So I'm going to add a little bit of gold because I'm going for a warmer tone. If I wanted something cooler, I would probably go with silver. So black, white, and silver, or I'm sorry, black, white, and gold will be the colors today. Black will take over a painting, so you want to use a little bit less of the black than other colors. I'm going to layer this paint in the cup gently. I went over the mixing process and what I use in my paints in the last video, but basically it's Floetrol, alcohol, and a mix of water and pouring medium to consistency of warm honey. All right. There is no silicone in this because I am not going for cells. I want very defined rings. These paints can set up very quickly on you. A little tip that I've noticed: these cups, some cups are better than others for certain things. These cups are very good for mixing because when the paint dries, it just sticks to the cup. These cups, the ones that are more clear, can't really tell. Let me grab one. The ones that are clear, if you're doing a flip cup, more paint will come out of those cups. They also come clean very, very easily when you're reusing. This has gotten thick. And these frosted cups are good for mixing because the clear cups have a tendency to get a film. That's why they're easier to clean. And when it dries on the edges of the cup and you go to mix it, then you wind up with pieces of paint, dried paint, mixed in. So using these for flip cups is a good idea because the paint comes out. It's not sitting there for a long time. And I'm not adding a whole lot of gold here. I don't want it to overpower the painting. These paints thicken up so quickly. I don't want the whole painting to be very shimmery. I just want hints of it in there to give the illusion of depth. And I don't know if you guys can see this very well. I know this painting was just in frame. So when I start tilting, hopefully I don't lose it. And you can see that there are layers in there. Gentle layers. So one of the comments that I received after my last video was someone saying that they had all of the things to start doing pouring, but were afraid to start because they were afraid to mess up. As someone who's been a musician for 20 years, this is not uncommon in any of the arts. This is what artists do to themselves. We are our own worst critics. And if you don't start, you can't fail, right? But if you don't try, you'll never succeed. So every so-called failure is not actually a failure. It is an opportunity to learn. And every time you mess up, you learn something from it. And there's also a saying that no great scientific discoveries ever ended with eureka. It always ends with, huh, that's weird. Something like that, loosely paraphrased. All right, so you don't want to fill the cup up too much or it'll be hard to get your pour started. Your swirl. So let's lay down a nice base coat of black. I'm going for contrast, so black is a good way to go. It's always good to step out of your comfort zone and try something new. And if it doesn't turn out perfectly, does it matter? I mean, unless you're trying brain surgery for the first time. But if we're making art, there are no mistakes in art. Just say, I meant to do that. This little tool's very handy for covering your canvas smoothly. Get this out of the way before it winds up on the floor. And if there's anything that you guys would like me to attempt, do let me know. Enjoy being adventurous. To those of you who paint, I say challenge yourself to do a painting. Trying to get as much depth as possible. There's a lot of different ways you can go about it. The tree ring pour is a pretty good way to go. You could also get a lot of depth from swiping from the center. I've seen that work very well. Again, metallics are a great way to get depth. All right. Now for the fun part. Hopefully this is enough paint. I am just doing a negative space, so hopefully it will be. And what I'm going to do, you could start from the side and pour this way, but you're going to get a lot of gold in that first pour. Starting from the middle where you have the stripes is where you'll wind up getting more depth. So if you want it to be more of a gradient, you would pour from the side. If you want to try to get a stripier effect, you would pour from the center. Here we go. And how it starts is not quite as important as how it finishes. The center will become very noticeable, and getting drips in your pour is a bummer. But not the end of the world, because then we just say, I meant to do that. That spot just says, you are here in the universe. That's my attempt at a Bob Rossism. Being patient and careful in a ring pour is to your benefit when you go to stretch out your rings. They will have a much more profound effect, I want to say. And I see lumps coming out from the end of my Floetrol, which is a bummer. You dirty rat. That gold is taking over. We'll see what happens when we stretch it out. You really can't go wrong with black, white, and gold. Oh no, you don't want that stream to stop. It's like the old joke, drums stop bad. What happens when the drums stop? Bass solo. I won't bore you with the setup. Maybe I should start adding that to my painting videos. Bad jokes. I'll give you a punchline, y'all come up with the setup. Okay. Getting close to the end here. We really want to make sure we don't get drips. You want to make sure you pull the parachute early enough. Oh, so hard. It's so hard to not get that drip. All right. Looks like we're off to a good start. There's cells popping up. It happens. Sometimes you want it to happen and it won't. I will do my best to keep this in frame. Let's see, direction. I feel like it's moving this way. I've had a lot of people tell me, folks who are not artists, that they love watching these painting tutorials because it's relaxing. And to that I say, if you think that's relaxing, you should try doing it. If you check out my other paintings when I was doing watercolor, I have a tendency to get very meticulous with detail. Some may say I'm OCD. You can say that if you want. I won't stop you. But that also made it very difficult for me to do things that are abstract intentionally, taking a paintbrush and painting something abstract. When I discovered this art form, I said, this might be for me, because science, nature, is doing the abstract for me. I'm just coaxing it. I'm just saying what direction I'd like to be moving. And so it allows me to do some abstract pieces, but not make myself crazy. Because every abstract piece I would try would wind up making too much sense, if that makes sense. I really want to get, I want to get this section going here, because that, I may have to lose some of what's happening over there, but that's all right. And something else to think about is the rule of thirds. If you don't know about that, you can easily Google and find some great information about it. But basically, what it is if you divide your canvas up into thirds, it's more interesting if your subject is not in the center. And come on now, give me a little more. So if I were to have just done this ring in the center and just left it in the center, that can have an effect, but it better be very, very centered or it will upset people like me. But you can make a painting very interesting by making something just slightly off center. I did a series of acrylic paintings of flowers that were up close but off center slightly, and I could have gone directly in the center. I just thought it looked more interesting. And that right there is going to drive me absolutely insane. It didn't turn out exactly the way I wanted, but about 99% of the videos that I watch of people doing acrylic pours don't end with people saying, that's exactly what I wanted. That's one of the things that I love about this medium is you put it in a cup. You try to steer it a certain way, but it will do what it's going to do. And you hope that it turns out to be something that you love. If not, you can always take this little guy and scrape it all off and start over. It's not brain surgery. No one's going to die. Don't be afraid to take a chance and mess up. That's the lesson for today. And if someone decides to do some paintings, trying to get depth in there, I would love to see them. And you can post it in the comments. I have a lot of cells popping up here. Let me wipe my hands off a bit, and I will give you a close-up. My iPhone has so much paint on it. Everything I have has paint on it. I just varnished 43 paintings, I think. I had varnish in my hair. It's all over my clothes. All right. So that is somewhat the effect I was going for, not exactly. But I do love the ring pours. Except that da 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 da. I just won't look at it. Nobody look at that. It's beautiful. Kind of has a bit of a galaxy effect with all those cells popping up. All right, well, that is painting number 2. Hopefully there was some useful information in there of what to do, what not to do. And I'll see you next time. Please subscribe so that you get notifications when I'm posting new videos. I will be posting more videos, so please like, subscribe, and all that other stuff that people say at the end of videos. Have a great day. Go make some art. All right. I just figured out that I can do something about this. So I thought I'd let y'all in on it. Come in and carefully give little swipes. It will at least break that up some. And not be so in your face. Come back the other way. Oh, that's much better. My OCD is calming down with every stroke of the toothpick. See, it just goes to show, if you persevere, don't give up. However, knowing when to walk away from a painting is one of the hardest things about being an artist. Knowing when you're finished. When to say stop before you make it worse. Otherwise known as fiddling. Oh, that's much better. All right. Let's get you in close on that. Much improved. Okay, now I'm really done. Step away from the painting. Step away from the painting. Go make some art.